got it.
Makeup.
Well, let's go ahead and stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Brian's going to come up and talk a little bit about this medical training that's coming up with Bill Hilchey. And Brian, if you want to come up and talk a little bit about that.
Sure.
Hello, folks. So we've got some important training coming up in about 2 weeks on Saturday, February 14th. You may or may not know we have a CPR AED class coming up with Bill Hilchey. We've got a halfway decent turnout already signed up, and I do have the sign-up sheets here. For the CPR class, what did I say there were? There's 26, make that 27 people who are signed up. So a halfway decent start to that. If you have not signed up, or even if you've come before to the class, I would highly recommend do it again. I don't know about you guys, but you know, I don't think you can practice this stuff enough. And if you do it every 1-2 years, I'm sure you might be a little uncertain if the moment were to present itself that you would need to use CPR and then use the AED. So it could be life-saving for somebody. So I highly recommend do it again even if you've done it before. The cost is free. We do suggest a $5 donation to Bill for his time and effort. He's gracious enough to do these. And also, if you want a CPR card, it's not required. They are good for 2 years. It's $15, and cash only on all that, please. So we'll be collecting and putting it in an envelope and handing it to Bill. He takes it from there. The other class coming up, excuse me, is March the 14th. Conveniently, both of those are on the 14th of the month, February 14th. Valentine's Day, and then March 14th is the Good Samaritan First Aid class. Again, Bill Hilchey. Both these classes start at 8 o'clock. Again, we suggest a $5 donation for Bill, collected in an envelope, handed it to him to say, hey, thank you very much for coming out and doing this for us. We currently have 9 people signed up for that. Again, even if you've taken it before, my recommendation would be do it again. You know, these are skills that they get a little rusty, probably kind of quick, and you may have questions. So that's it for that, as far as I know. And I think I'm going to give it back to Larry. Okay.
Okay, I am not with AARP. They had a conflict scheduled. So what I've done, a little research, and I do have a very significant interest in this subject matter. My wife has been diagnosed with what called MCI, moderate cognitive impairment. And they prescribed a medication. We also have a study in the villages that we're looking at in terms of finding support for her. I will be using her as an example and myself, because now I'm a caregiver, and her situation is if I wasn't around, she couldn't take care of herself. That's where we're at. I've got a daughter and son in the Dallas area that will help out. But again, it's going to fall upon me for the most part. So I appreciate your prayers on that. One battery on this?
Oh no, don't break the clicker.
Well, I screwed that up.
Put it in backwards.
Did I? Okay, aging, is it on?
There you go. That made it happen.
Okay, did it? Sorry about that.
There's a little black speck on the floor, pick it up before you step on it.
Okay, got it.
That's part of it.
Okay. Okay, aging depends on a lot of things. A lot of, especially with the brain in terms of how they call it, I guess the synapse or the connectivity, plaque can cause complications. And I use it probably like something very similar to that. You don't have it in there properly as far as the battery, or it's rusted or a dead battery, then it doesn't work. So that's the issue with my wife. So genes and environment and lifestyle can be a big factor on that one, and looking at health choices. Now in our case, it's, you know, I'm glad we're here, because this is a great community. There's a lot of activities. We're going to get her involved in a lot of things. And I will talk about this later toward the end. This one document has to do with caregivers. And if you want this, I didn't make enough copies of that, but if you want something, whether it's your family or a neighbor or a friend that could may need some assistance, and there are other county resources too. Lake County has that, Sumter County, and so forth, if you do the research on it. Okay, a lot of times you might find increased difficulty finding words. Her situation is that she knows what she wants to say, but it's formulating the thought in speech. So she has that difficulty. Multitasking, some people will have problem with that. We try to make sure she can do things in the house, but not too complicated. In my case, I do most of the cooking. She still can do the wash. She wants to do things. So we try to find activities that will help her. Also, mild decreases in paying attention. Sometimes what happens with people with this disease is remembering things. For example, she may say, "What do we have tomorrow?" And I've told her maybe 3 or 4 times a day, you have a doctor's appointment at 12:30. So it doesn't mean you can't learn new things or create new memories. You just got to be patient with a person that has that particular condition. Now the rest of this presentation is kind of broke up in this area, so I won't spend a lot of time on it, because I would like to go over some of the handouts that I have that I think will be very helpful to you. But sometimes medications, I know with my mother years ago, she had so many medications that she was delusional. And it took another doctor to go in and detoxify her to get her to the point where she could reason and so forth. And she lived to be 86. But she did have some problems with memory. It's like every time I would call her, it's almost the same conversation. All right. Smoking's not the ideal thing. I'm guilty of that. Smoke a cigar every now and then, have a glass of wine or something. Excessive use of alcohol. Other things that can complicate that is heart disease and diabetes. She does have both. She was diagnosed with an LBBB, left block, which has to do, I think, with rhythm. Is that right? Partially on that one. The diet, I think we've got that a little bit under control. We're trying to make sure we're using a lot of vegetables and lean meats and fruits and so forth. Sleep has not been a problem, but it can be for some people. Lack of physical activity, that's something I've got to work on personally with her, and again, she's willing to go up here to the exercise room, so we've got, part of my plan for this year is to get more activity for her. And also social interaction. I mean, things like the clubs we have, what, 66 clubs? I mean, you look at that and all the different activities, so we're fortunate, if you take advantage of them, you can get a lot of stimulation and socialization by doing that. Okay, we talked a little bit about medications and the combinations of those medications, so if you have any issues with that didn't have because of a new medication, make sure your doctor understands the different types and what reactions can happen. I mean, even supplements like certain vitamins may not be the best thing for that particular person or patients. So again, there are a lot of resources that you can come and find to get maybe a diet recommendation and so forth. Talked a little bit about the smoking issues and concerns there. So if you got anybody that wants to try to quit smoking and so forth, I would look for those things to get better blood circulation for the most part. And I'm going to spend more time on these handouts. That's why I'm going through this pretty quick, because again, if you need a copy of this, do we send this out or not?
No.
Okay, we can send this out to you if you want it. Of course, alcohol can affect your response, driving and long-term change. So again, recommend moderation. She does enjoy wine a little bit, so maybe once or twice a week we do allow that. Because again, this is a summary of what happens in a lot of cases: heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, Alzheimer's, dementia, stroke, traumatic brain injury, depression, and sleep problems. We've not experienced anything like traumatic brain injury, but again, it can be a big impact if someone falls, hits their head. Get medical attention and begin to monitor at that point. I'm sorry?
Football players.
Good point. Here's some of the things you can help reduce the problems with heart disease and high blood pressure. You need to get the cholesterol under control and high blood pressure. AC1, you want it below 6, I believe, and so forth. And so annual checkups are very important. I hope you all do that. In our case, we go twice a year based on the doctors and the conditions that she has. Eat healthy food, and then the smoking and limits on alcohol. Okay, diabetes damages blood vessels through your body, including your brain, increased risk of stroke and heart attack. It could increase the risk for memory problems and lead on to things like dementia and Alzheimer's. So it's maintaining a healthy weight through physical activity, and healthy eating can prevent the control of that. Okay, Alzheimer's, correct me if I'm wrong, there's not a cure for it, but you have to understand how to best manage it. There are medications out there that, what would you say, minimize the risk?
It slows it down.
Yeah. So she's on something called Menadine. You familiar with that medication? Anyway, it's something that the neurologist put her on this week, so we're going to hopefully watch that and see what helps. But again, in a lot of cases with age and your genes and your activity can affect your loved ones in the long term. Now, a lot of people, I mean, I've seen people in their 90s that are just sharp as a tack. I had an uncle in Arkansas. He lived to be 94, and he drove like a bat out of hell through Little Rock. And he was sharp as, and this is a side note, after he turned 65, he felt in his heart he didn't need to pay any more taxes. And he lived till 94 and never paid a dime of tax, never got caught. So anyway.
Was his last name Couric also?
No, no. We call him Uncle Henry, so anyway. Suspected risk with Alzheimer's, of course, is heart disease, high blood pressure, lack of activity, depression, and so forth. Okay, again, a little bit about some therapies can help treat Alzheimer's symptoms. Now, let me remind you that symptoms, not so much the disease itself. Some approaches, exercise, healthy diet, and so forth, controlling high blood pressure. I don't know if you've noticed, there are a lot of trials in this area. K2 research over in the villages is one. We tried that, but they were concerned about the left bundle branch block with the type of therapy they were looking at. So we went to another trial, which we are going to start probably in about a month. I've got to contact the person tomorrow, but they've accepted her in their study. Again, some of the things, like you say, when you talk about the risk, is going back to exercise, diet, cognitive brain training, where we've got a speech therapist scheduled for her. We're trying to do some activities like puzzles. She enjoys doing puzzles. You know, I'm frustrated with them. You have a 300 piece on the table, I'll just go nuts. You might as well just shoot me in the head. I can't do that kind of stuff. And she always gets mad when I walk over there and tries to put a piece or two together on that. So, okay, brain injury, again, as you mentioned, football players or others, someone had fall and hit their head. How to reduce that risk is really look at your home. Try to go through it and make sure you don't have a lot of, carpet that's lifted up, cords on the ground, and so forth. So, and I think we did this once last year or year before with the police department. They came in, and Frank D'Angelo, I think, spoke to us one time about that type things to minimize that. But try to make your home a little safer, and if necessary, she does have special shoes that help her keep her balance. So we're very grateful for that. Another issue comes up sometimes with depression. Feeling of sadness, down and out, life doesn't have a lot of purpose and so forth. And the statement here I kind of agree with, not a normal part of aging, but the older we get, the warranty's worn out. Ran out a long time ago. So preventive measures are very important in your life. Treatment can involve therapy and different type of medications on that, okay? Again, we're in the same boat. I have sleep apnea, she has sleep apnea. If you're not familiar with it, it basically controls the breathing through a CPAP machine or something of that nature. She's very faithful at doing that, same as I. Use of special devices ordered by your doctor may also help in that case. So what can you do to protect brain health? One, you gotta have, and again, you can look at it not only from the person itself, but also the caregiver or your spouse or someone else that can come in to be able to help with these actions. Take care of your health, eating healthy, being active, learning new things and so forth, and connection with family and friends and communities is very important. And I'm very grateful for Legacy, and there are a lot of other communities out there, but we do have a lot of resources there, people that, I think people that do care for each other, part of what we do, so. Okay, some things you might be able to do is take care of your health through different things like getting recommended screenings, which is what we're trying to do with her. Manage health problems and different things like blood pressure and so forth. That requires going to a doctor and working on a care plan that, you know, is important. And a lot of, you know, I feel for people that are single in their home that may not have these kind of support. But if you need assistance, highly recommend, you know, finding people. I mean, I'm willing to help anybody in this room. I mean that sincerely. Based on my experience right now and what I'm going through, there are resources the county can provide if you need it and look into it. They do have a council of aging in Lake County. The biggest problem they have is that they don't do a good job of communicating. They have the network, but they don't really share the information that effectively. And they're aware of that, and so they're trying to work on that. Now, your experience with Lake Sumter, is it better? You don't?
No.
Okay. Reducing the risk for brain injury due to falls and so forth. So it's very important to take care of your health in that regard. I think eating healthy is very important. Going to McDonald's every day, I don't recommend it. Maybe it occasionally, but again, a lot of foods are filled with additives, salt, and a lot of things that are not good for you. I mean, a canned soup, for example, if you look at Campbell's soup and look at what's in there, it scares you. At least it does me. So, yeah. So anyway, whole grains, lean meats, fish and poultry, particularly low-fat, non-dairy products, sugar, salt, and so forth, all that affects your health. Your body is basically a bunch of chemicals and stuff that works together, and if it gets out of balance, it's not good for anyone. Physical activity is very important. I do have a tracker on my watch that gives me my activity for the day. I use it all the time. And I try to adjust that to get more active. Now, the last 3 or 4 days, I haven't been out of the house that much. Okay, but that's not normal for us. And this week, it looks like it's getting back to normal for us here. But I think the important thing is getting exercise, and I would encourage you to do accountability partner, whether it's your spouse or another person. You know, like Brian and I may be able to say, this is what I plan to do this week physically, and he may send me a text.
Good luck.
Huh?
Good luck.
Good luck. And this community does have a lot of different exercises. They have I think they still have Tai Chi here?
No.
They don't have that? They do have the water aerobics, chair aerobics and so forth. So there are some resources here that you can do. So try to join a program and be active in what you're doing. Again, keep your mind active. It's just like an athlete training for a race. If he doesn't work out and keep his body in top notch, he's not going to compete very well. Now, I can walk, but I can't run very well with my knees. So, but I can find other things to do in terms of activities, and it's very important to keep your mind sharp. Playing games, learning new things is very important. Teach a class, take a class. There are a lot of things, and I'll share this with you later. There's a resource out of California that has, what do you call it? When you sign up,
Study.
we use it.
Seminar?
Well, it's kind of like a seminar. You sign up for it and you log in on your computer and people come up and webinars.
Oh,
Yeah, couldn't think of my brain.
wow.
But anyway,
Slide 2.
I can share those resources too. But it's a very good source of information I think is going to help me and my wife too. And so social interaction is very important. And as I mentioned earlier, if you need to help find clinical trials that may can assist in that area. And again, staying connected, people who have meaningful activities, volunteers, social work and so forth, joining in some type of area, senior center. There is a support group at Celebration Baptist Church on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 o'clock, I believe. Is that right? I haven't been to one yet, but I'm going to go this week to see it. One lady, I can't remember her name, has started. Jackie, yeah. She started that, and it's open to the public. So that's another resource if you're looking at trying to help caregivers, and that's what she's trying to do at that point. Again, it's like any mission you do. Sometimes take small steps, come up with small goals. You don't want to bite the apple too big. You can't eat an elephant in one bite, so to speak. Think of small steps like take a 10-minute walk. We may start walking to the mailbox and back. She has a slow gait, so I have to be very mindful of that. But hopefully with time and better weather and so forth, it may help her and me in terms of being physically active. Adding a serving of vegetables and not so much eating cake and ice cream all the time. Make an appointment for health screenings and physical exams is very important. Because there are a lot of good professional people out there, doctors and geriatrics and so forth, that can provide that assistance. They're trained for that. There's resources out there. So if you need help, let me know if you don't need anything on that area. Now the presentation, we'll send this to you. These are other sources of information. I am impressed with AARP. They have a tremendous amount of resources, and unfortunately, the lady that was supposed to be here tonight had another obligation up in
Tallahassee. Tallahassee.
Tallahassee, that's right. So, but we do have resources, and if you're looking at it, I'm going to give that to you. There's a lady that runs this area. I think her first name is Jasmine, but and if you look at one of the handouts, the list is unbelievable. Not just for brain health, but other things you might hear, caregivers, or if you need help with Medicare or anything like that. They do have a lot of good information on this. Okay, let me get to some of the handouts.
You looking for a walk around, Mike? Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to break anything. I already done that. This one I'm going to give to you. If there's only one you take out of here, I would highly recommend it. This was developed by Administration for Community Living. It covers everything we talked about today and all kind of links that you can go to for additional information. If you don't mind passing them out.
You guys already got them? Okay.
Now, this particular handout is 10 healthy habits for your brain.
Thank you.
This is put out by the Alzheimer's Association. So it's a very good information, things like what we've already talked about, protecting your head, smoke-free, get moving, challenge your mind, your blood pressure, diabetes. So a lot of these handouts are parallel in terms of what the resources are available. AARP, as I mentioned, I'm pretty impressed by the resources they have, but things like caregiving, dementia, voice program, Foundation Connect, and there are a lot of resources they have, so this is a good thing. I don't think you got this, did you? Okay.
Hey, Ralph, did you want these papers too? Okay, I'll start dropping.
Larry, while you're at it,
Hold on.
what you're talking about is very, very important. But there's also a piece of this that, let us not forget about, because the reason I'm saying that, I was a caregiver. And it is also very, very important that the caregiver get the appropriate support that they need. Because, and this was strictly pointed out to me when I went to a doctor that was recommended for something, and never had anybody ask me this question before. She just took one look at me and she said, okay, tell me about yourself. So I told her about the fact that I was taking care of a husband and so on and so forth, and she said, what do you do for yourself? And I looked at her somewhat dumbfounded, and I said, I don't understand, what do you mean? She said, what do you do for yourself? Not today, not tomorrow, not on a monthly basis, but your tank is empty. You have to fill your own tank as well before you can fill someone else's. So, just wanted to bring that up.
In fact, I've got one handout that will send it to you electronically. It's called 7 Things to Do When a Loved One is Diagnosed with Dementia. And it talks exactly of what you mentioned. You also have to care for yourself. For me, I play bocce, I do shuffleboard, a neighborhood watch, neighbor to neighbor. I look at certain social events, whether it's a wine club or something like that, and not only for my sake, but also for hers. Some of these things that she can do herself. So we'll get that on distribution too. Then there's one with a diet recommendation and debunking myths about aging brain. Okay, any questions?
More coming at you.
Or experiences that maybe you could share a little bit?
I was going to ask you, when she was diagnosed, did they rule out Parkinson's?
Yes.
They did? Yeah. Okay. The thing is that in dementia, which is the umbrella, Alzheimer is only one part of it. And there's so many other physiological reasons for dementia. So they have to be aware of what it is.
Very true. I mean, dementia is, you've got things like the Alzheimer's. Dementia is a type of Alzheimer's, if you want it, but it has to do with brain activities and how you respond and so forth. If I said anything, I think the main thing is to be active. And try to get the resources you need. The internet can be a very helpful thing if you start looking and researching, and I'm doing a lot of that right now. So I'll be glad to share that. If you're interested, let me know. Send Larry Crook at Yahoo if you want any additional resources. What I find, I will share, and if you guys find anything, I will be willing to accept any kind of recommendations or services and so forth. So, any other comments? Did I do a good job?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Larry,
but,
Larry, tell everybody that the sign-up sheets for the classes are gonna be in the library hallway.
Okay. Yeah, if you haven't signed up, these classes are gonna be available, very helpful. Again, I would appreciate your prayers and support for me. Because when we moved here, everything was just great. I mean, activity-wise and so forth, and things change, life changes. You can have an accident, you can, break a leg or whatever might be that can affect what happens in a family network. Some people may not have the family support even though I have the support back in Texas, it's gonna be very hard for that to transition down here, which means more likely, if she goes down or something happens to me, we're gonna be looking at alternative living, and so forth.
We also have to gravitate to many of the agencies, including ARP, to sign up for different programs and also get in-house help, because Medicare, Medicaid give you a couple hours a week. So go and research every available agency that you can, including those who come in home health aides.
But again, if you do send me an email, I will keep you aware of what's going on and what other resources. The other clinical trial, I can't remember the name of the agency, but it's also in the villages and so forth. But there's a lot of and what the doctor told me when they prescribed, a lot of these trials bring new medications and support on the market. And that's why they're there. He said the result of what I gave your wife is the result of other trials that have happened. So just be very mindful of that. Information can be very valuable, but if you see early signs of this that may affect someone that's a friend of yours or your neighbor or in your family, just be mindful of it and get the help you need, okay? If there's no other questions, I guess we can call it quits.
Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
One other thing, Larry.
I'm sorry?
Anyone who's gonna be working at a flea market, consider donating your time to neighbor to neighbor.
Gotcha.
Say it in the microphone, because nobody else heard that.
Again, I think this organization could be very helpful, but again, Neighborhood Watch is having the same problem. You know, people to a point cannot continue to do what they're doing, whether it's a medical thing or a radio person or a block captain. So hopefully this year we can start doing a little more recruiting. You guys are faithful. I appreciate you coming and supporting the mission that we do. But I think it's very unique in what Neighbor to Neighbor does. And it's one of two organizations. It's not designed to be a social club. I mean, what you're doing is volunteer your time to help other people. So be in thought. If you can think of people or talk to neighbors, and I'm going to try to start working on that because I'm not the best recruiter in the world. But we have a lot of new people that come in, and they meet by the pool and so forth. So I'm going to go back and try to talk to some of these if we get other people to help out in the mission that we have.
Actually, his recommendation was people who are volunteering for the flea market.
Flea market? Oh, to get,
Donate your time to neighbor.
donate your time. Right,
To
last year we didn't have a lot of help in that area, but I plan to do a lot of with the, with that, I just lost my thought. Not arts and craft, it's the flea market.
Flea market.
The flea market. So if you can, there's always something on Channel 16 about that and the different dates. So if you have, it can help out, whether it's organizing or working with the fair or doing, you know, shuffling like we do with Neighborhood Watch with the people coming in and out, parking and so forth. So look at that schedule, and if you can help out, we have about $2,000 right now. And of course that's designed by, you know, medical gear, radio equipment, and different things. And we've got several battery packs. I'd like to get another 2K generator, which is very reasonable cost nowadays, just to have it, because we've had a case 2 years ago, was it? You know, that we're able to get help for people that need that. Now, it's not designed to keep your refrigerator going. It's like durable medical equipment and stuff like that. So anyway, well, thank you for coming. I know it's a chilly night, but hopefully we'll get warmed up later this week.
Thank you, Larry.